All right, today on Meet the Neighborhood, we're really excited to have Sean Carthew in town. If anybody is from the Port Hope area or the Northumberland region, you've probably heard of, been to, seen one of his shows or one of his pieces of, can we call them art?
Sometimes.
Sometimes. Sean, how would you, okay, here's a great thing, because I think during the pandemic or pre-pandemic, you were creating your own shows at venues in and around town and creating entertainment shows, music shows, theater shows, combinations of both. Pandemic hits, everything shuts down. You had to shift. Tell people about your shift.
Well, it kind of started as a joke, to be honest. Actually, I have one on hand here.
Let's see it.
Oh, thought
That
I'd
is
pull it. Yeah.
A fine charcuterie board right there.
Very nice.
I love that you did 3D with it, like an SCTV 3D.
The old in and out.
Awesome.
I posted on a friend's page. I had one of these charcuterie boards you've been wanting ready for you, and it went nuts. No pun. It
total pun.
I sold, I don't know, 150, 200 of them now.
Wow.
And then out of that, somebody said, oh, can you make custom charcuterie boards? And I want a heart, and I designed a heart. I have one here too, actually. I'm ready, man.
Look at you. I feel like this is some sort of talk show where you brought, like, you know when Jack Hanna used to bring the animals on Letterman?
Yeah.
Look at that show and tell.
So I made one of those, and I sold, I don't know, close to 100 of those.
Wow.
And then somebody asked for clover shape, and I made a whole bunch of those, and then some other ones. And
so here's a business suggestion for you next year for Valentine's Day. Go to Boston Pizza that sells the heart pizza and see if they'll present their heart pizzas on one of your heart charcuterie boards.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. I want to up my game and sell more.
Yeah.
You know,
pretty soon you're gonna have to find a manufacturing space and start hiring people the rate you're going. So, but it was a really interesting shift, because you're like, okay, my livelihood's been taken away. What other skill sets do I have that I can use, that I can put to good use? And you and I were talking off mic about this a little bit, in that I think a lot of people have been faced with that in the pandemic. Have you seen other cases of that with anybody in your friend group, friend circle that's had to make a big pivot?
Yeah, I think it's, I know we were talking about that, and you have to work within your means, right? Like what you have at your disposal. I have a little shop. I make little wood boards. So yeah, and then I was doing home renovations. I'm handy, so I could take advantage of that. Yeah, people have had to adapt, like people in the restaurant business, servers that did that forever. They had to find other professions or other gigs and just kind of roll with the punches. It's been crazy for everyone, really.
Yeah, when you see like the businesses that went to like either online ordering or curbside pickup or various forms of delivery, like none of that was in their business plan a year and a half ago.
Yeah. Really the entertainment industry has just been leveled.
Definitely.
And and how is it going to come back? And it's still, there's some shows going on, but it's tough.
Well, you just hosted a series of successful shows with concerts under the marquee at the Capitol Theater. Whose brainchild was that?
That was the Capitol Theater. That was their brainchild, and they just asked me to host. And of course I said yes. Any chance to get my name out there.
Right.
Yeah, it was their idea, and they're trying to adapt as well. They're trying to, how do we do shows or get people in without, it's hard for them to come into the theater, so let's do it outside on the street. And the town of Port Hope was great to make that happen. Jeannie Maidens, she's awesome.
Weather was beautiful too.
Yes. Because she just I did a little 10-minute play festival in and around the park on the Port Hope's Arts Festival weekend.
Yeah.
It's actually a month. Jeannie had it going for all of August. And she had 4 10-minute plays from 4 different playwrights, 3 award-winning playwrights, and myself.
I love how you've put yourself at the end after 3 award-winning playwrights and then me.
Yeah. I was the token Fort Hope person. That's how I got on that bill. Well, no, it was great. It was a big success as well. And again, it's arts outdoors, just adapting, right?
Oh, totally. Like
Yeah.
you've sort of figured out that you want to be part of the creation process, like to create your own shows and develop your own shows and coordinate and collaborate with various kinds of performers and all of that stuff that you were doing and having so much success with pre-pandemic. Take me back to where all of that began. Like, where does your love of theater and performance and the arts come from?
Well, it's, I have a degree in acting, and I did that and then I started doing shows and commercials and whatnot. I did that professionally, I guess, for 12 years. Got out of it, got into fixing and flipping cottages. Crazy enough, yeah. That's right.
Okay, hold on, stop. So you're an actor and a performer, and then you're like, and then I just got into fixing and flipping cottages. Like, that's a whole different skill set. Where does that skill set come from?
That's my dad. My dad's a carpenter. So we had the idea, but if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to do it, really.
Right,
so right. From him,
so it was learning on the job.
I still have a lot to learn, but he's made me handy.
But like, go back even further than that. What got you into acting school and got you into got the acting bug to bite you? Like, when did all that start prior to going to school for it?
High school, really. I've always been performing, whether it was silly skits. And then I'm like, I'm going to try my hand at actually in a play, and I loved it. And, follow the girls. If they were in a play, I would try and get in that play. It's all about girls.
I love your honesty there. You're like, yeah, if there was pretty girls in the play, then I was going for that play. That's the most high school boy thing to ever say. It's like when you ask a musician, why did you get into a band as a kid? Girls.
Yeah.
Same type of thing.
True.
So you said you did some commercial work. What were some of your favorite or least favorite commercials that you've done?
Oh, I only did a few. Like, I don't know. It's a tough. Oh. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. We're good.
I lost you for a second. It's tough. It was a tough go for me. I would get the odd gig here and there and some summer theater. I did a Bell commercial. I answered the phone. I didn't have any words. I was really good at that.
Nailed it.
I think they actually cut it. I still got paid, so whatever.
I was gonna say, if you were that kid on the beach that phoned his grandpa from Normandy back in the day with that Bell commercial, like, I still cry when I watch that thing.
Oh, this was much more minor than oh, I washed a car in a Honda commercial. That was good.
Were you wearing a bathing suit?
No, nobody wants to see that.
Damn it.
I remember the director saying, "Do it more aggressive." Hey, aggressive. Anyway. I did an Applebee's commercial.
Oh, did you?
That was fun. So you get to eat. You're eating and laughing with your friends. You could say they couldn't hear what you were saying, right? It was all the music.
Is
you
the
could say
food
all
cold?
the most dirty things. So when you saw the Applebee's commercial, you're like,
you're talking about farts or something.
Pardon me?
I said you're in the Applebee's jingles playing, and you see the voiceover coming in, and you're there at the table enjoying an Applebee's meal, talking about farts or something.
Oh yeah, that's worse.
That's a pretty Sean Carthew thing to do.
Yeah, that was fun.
Now listen,
I did Trace Adkins, the
country singer.
I did a music video with him, and it went to #1 in Canada. So that was pretty cool. I actually had a pretty good part in that.
What was
music video was fun to do because there's no lines, or you can just act within the music. It's fun.
What was your role in the Trace Adkins video?
I was a construction worker having a hard time with losing work.
Down on your luck?
I was just pissed off construction worker.
Number one.
I was really good.
Now I'm gonna have to go look that up. What is that video? Do you remember the song?
And I'm trying.
You're working hard.
I think I'm trying. That's what it's called.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down because I'm gonna go look that up. That's gonna be awesome.
Here's a funny career moment. I was Franklin the Turtle.
Love Franklin.
That was my first gig.
Like the actual turtle or the voiceover?
No, the actual turtle. Before there was the cartoons. Dating myself.
Well,
yeah,
listen.
so I toured all across Canada doing it in a big, huge turtle costume.
How much fun was that with kids, though?
No, it sucked.
They punching you and stuff and pulling on stuff, and
I had this huge head on, like a Barney head. They couldn't see your face, and I guess they liked it. They knew all the lines, though. Half the time they didn't hear what you're saying because they're shouting the lines at you. But it was interesting. There was 4 of us in a van, doing 8 shows a week. You would drive to, say, Sudbury, and then to Sault Ste. Marie, and then to Oshawa, and then to Peterborough, and then back to Toronto with a set, and you're setting up the set every time, getting $350 a week.
That is some actor training right there.
Children's touring theater is tough. Yeah.
How did you get the gig as Franklin? Like, where did that even come up?
Oh, I auditioned for it, and this was my first paid acting gig.
Nice.
Yeah. It was like, and then they flew us out to BC, and we toured all of BC. But backstage was the most interesting.
Please tell me, did you have groupies?
No. No. There was 4 very diverse people sitting backstage about to go on and perform Franklin.
Right.
Did
you like the people you worked with, though?
We had, yeah.
Because that's pretty critical if you're going to be in a van across Canada.
It's a lot of time together.
Oof. Yeah. Have you kept in contact with them at all?
Yeah. I've actually booked the one girl. She's in Dirty Dishes. They're a great trio, country trio.
Okay.
I've booked her a few times. Yeah, they're good.
Very cool, man. Now listen, I tried to dig up some dirt on you. Okay, like I don't have a production team, obviously, but I do have some tentacles around the community. Literally nothing. Like if there's not a sainthood for Sean Carthew somewhere, I don't know what to say to you, because nobody had anything bad to say about you or anything. Like, I'm looking for weird, crazy stories and nothing. He's a fantastic son to his parents. He's got this incredible love story, and he did this awesome work during the pandemic and made a wicked pivot, and it just went on and on and on. And I'm like, okay, so, well, this is going to be a feel good then. Guess we're doing a feel good.
That sucks.
Tell me about because I love the relationship that we see online with your dad, because I don't know you and your dad, obviously, but tell me a little bit about that relationship, because it seems like for a guy at your age, you guys are like best buddies.
Yeah, we try and fish every week. You're gonna get me. It's hard.
Why is it so hard?
I don't know. I just get choked up.
Because he's a good dude?
Yep.
Now I want to meet him. And I probably want to go fishing with him, because you guys catch more in a weekend than I've caught in my whole life.
Sometimes. Yeah, he, yeah. Sorry.
That's okay. Here's let me ask you this then. Like, what kind of cool stuff have you learned either from him or from just watching him and the way he conducts himself? Because I know with my dad's not the kind of guy that's going to sit down and tell me, here's what you got to do, and here's like some things to be a decent human being and all that kind of stuff. Both my parents were like this. They just went about their lives, and you just kind of followed that example. Like, that's the best way I can describe it with my folks. And I'm wondering if it's the same with your dad and mom, and or is there a different kind of connection there where he sort of gives you some advice from time to time? Because my dad gave me relationship advice on the radio one time, that we asked him at his 50th wedding anniversary, like, what's the secret to longevity in a relationship? And it's the first time I can think of where he said something that where he actually felt like he was giving advice, right? Because he said, like, you've got your life and your partner's got their life, and then you got your together life. And as long as those three things don't overlap each other or overcome each other, you're going to be just fine. And it was just such a profoundly simple concept. I'm like, Dad, that was literally one of the coolest things you've ever said out loud.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if what kind of guy he's like in that sense, or did you just learn by being around him?
Yeah, I think to lead by example, you know, and they're just always there and never really judged my decisions, whether to go into acting or this or that, just always supportive.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because some parents might not be supportive, because when you're going into a risky scenario or a scenario where, like, income isn't guaranteed, I think that makes parents nervous because they want the best for their kids, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've never had that in my life. Never. 52 years old, I've never had secured income.
So let me ask you, well, because that I find that interesting, because I know other actors and I know other performers or gig type workers where they can get up in the morning and go, okay, where am I getting my paycheck this week? And they're
Yeah.
totally fine with it. It's a headspace and a mindset that they've just kind of adopted. And then there's other people who have to know, like, when their RSP is going to mature, when their retirement paycheck's coming in, and how much down to the penny are they going to be paying in bank fees at 68 years old. And I'm wondering where the difference in headspace comes and how you learn to get comfortable with that over the years.
Yeah, like, I don't know if you ever really get totally comfortable with it. Like, this week I'm stressing a bit because things are really slow for me, like the last week. So yeah, you're wondering, and you're trying harder. I need a different venue. How can I sell these? I don't know. I just try harder when it gets more grim. I don't know. I think that's just, that's what I do. This is just normal now.
But again, like, I think, I don't want to say, like, are you a planner? That's not the word I'm looking for, but like, you're obviously not just winging it, because it's been working for you up to this point. And when you have the ability to put on shows and do things like that, you're working towards the next project kind of all the time. Like, there is some method to that madness, no?
Yeah, I think you always have to have what's next. You have what's next like you have a plan, I guess. I know what I need to do in order to sell more product. I may do a show in November. It's a bit of a risk at the International Women's Show.
Right.
So I'm starting to make my product for that. And
is that going to be like a play or a performance or a music gig, or?
Pardon me?
What kind of show is it going to be?
Like my boards, my
Oh, your boards. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I know. I thought it was back in the theater world.
No, not yet. I don't know. That just seems to be changing all the time to do a show. Like, I get motivated. I want to do a show, and then just COVID rules are changing. There's passports, and I'm just kind of, personally, I need that to settle down a bit before ticket sales are hard enough as it is, and then add all the protocol.
Right.
Tough.
How are you guys, how are you finding the sort of, I call it pandemic fatigue, because it seems like, especially for the last 6 or 8 months, as vaccines have taken off, it seems like there's a new crisis of the day every day somewhere. And I'm just wondering.
Breaking news.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering how you've handled that, because I know when I talk to friends and family and stuff, like, people are exhausted. Like, they're just exhausted. They want normalcy. They want life back to normal. they're tired of the fighting. Like, I just get away from it sometimes. I just can't look at my phone. I don't watch the news. That's one of the nice things about not being in media every day, is I have the choice to walk away from the news. And I talk to my friends that are still doing news, and they're exhausted. They're mentally, emotionally, physically just beat to dust from the whole thing. So I'm wondering how you and your family sort of walked through that for the last year and a half. What's that look like?
Well, I live, my life's pretty simple right now. I go out to my workshop in the backyard and I making wood products. So I really, and my girlfriend can work from home mostly. And my parents live on a farm, and my sister too lives remote. So it's a pretty simple life I have.
It sounds like a happy one too, because I know a good friend of yours told me about the love affair that you found with an old high school friend. Is that true?
Yes.
You guys reconnected after how many years?
Oh, Lisa, how many years since high school? 30? Since when? How many years since we fooled around in high school?
Since that time out behind the bleachers. When was that?
She just did a big sigh.
So how did you guys reconnect again? What was the contact?
Bumble.
Bumble?
Yeah.
Because I did it now, here's the best part. Did the app match you guys, or did you have to go find each other?
I think, swiping, I think saw
like, hey,
each other.
I know that person.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been probably 30 years, I guess.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
And was it just like going back to day one?
She heard I was single and kept swiping and swiping and swiping till she found me.
She practically broke her finger, I'm sure.
Yeah, through all the apps.
Get a new screen on your phone after a couple weeks, and there finally he is. The beacon of Sean Carthew. What is your because I don't know your path. I guess I gather you left Port Hope and have come back or have resettled in Port Hope. What was it?
I'm a Ajax to Toronto to Halliburton to Port Hope. That's my route.
And what brought you back to Port Hope?
I'm not originally from Port Hope. That brought me to Port Hope is just I like the downtown, basically. It was a cute downtown. I liked the house price back then. And I bought it.
When you came to Port Hope, did you know about the arts community and the background in Port Hope?
Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I would have thought that would have been one of the driving things that brings you back here, because it's like a magnet for the arts community, and you had no idea. You're like, yeah, it's got a cute downtown. It's close to Toronto.
That's it. Yeah. And the house was affordable, like before. It's gone crazy now.
Yeah. I love that it's just kind of a happy accident, one happy accident after another.
Yeah. Basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah. Rolling with it.
And so how were you able to make connections in Port Hope rather quickly, or were you leaning on your network outside of Port Hope and bringing those connections here? Like, how did you get to meet her? Because you've become kind of a fabric of the community in terms of the arts community, and as well now the woodworking community. But like, how did you start to meet folks in there? Was it just, did you start volunteering, or did you just go down to the Capitol or meet some friends in the art community and just start getting introduced? Like, what does that process look like when you got here? Because coming here cold, because it's got a nice downtown, it seems like you've built a pretty wicked name for yourself in a very short period of time.
Yeah, well, I worked at the restaurant business, so worked at the Social for 3 or 4 years, and you just meet so many people that way. And then I opened my own little storefront theater, and that got a lot of press and people behind me trying to support me doing that. And then that didn't work, so then I turned it into a pop-up, doing shows at various venues. And in some ways, that was a bit of a blessing, because you can grow your audience faster. Like, you're working with different venues who also have their people that follow them.
Right.
Different venues, a wider range of artists. So you're gathering and collecting as you go along. And I always made sure to make my shows diverse. I wasn't always like, I wasn't just a folk, just didn't produce folk. I would produce some folk, some rock, some theater, some country, some jazz. Always trying to reach a new audience.
It's funny you say that though, because you make it sound like, well, we did this, we did this, we did this. Like, you know, most people go, I don't know a bunch of jazz musicians, or, you know, I don't know anybody that can perform the Wizard of Oz. like you make it sound so effortless, but it's an incredible amount of work behind the scenes to coordinate, contact, schedule, plan, fund, market, sell, execute. Like there's a million little steps in there that you just kind of make it sound like it's nothing. Like, where do you find those connections? Or do you just look up jazz people and go, hey, I want to do a jazz show. Who are the big jazz folks I got to be in contact with?
Sometimes sometimes it's people I know, and then sometimes it was finding good talent. And yeah, it has to work. They have to be good. They have to be affordable at that time, or willing to adapt to money and timing. That's another big thing. Are they willing to come here to Port Hope? Yeah, it's there's a lot of, what did I used to say? A lot of, has to be the perfect storm for all the pieces to come in, to play, to work, venue.
But at the same time, you're the one that's creating the storm. Like it's not like a bunch of random things have to happen. Like you're the one that are pulling people in there. I think that takes, because I know back in my radio days, there was an expression in radio, was like, don't create an event, go to one, because you never know what's going to happen, right? And I think when you're creating events like this, it takes a massive amount of courage to put the time and financial and emotional and reputational currency out there, hoping that it works out. And it takes a massive amount of courage, especially when you're doing different genres, different types, different performances. Like, where does that kind of internal courage come from? There has to be a certain self-assuredness that you figure you can pull this kind of thing off. And, you know, by and large, it works really well for you. And the reviews from the show is people have loved the show. It's like, where does that internal sense of courage and I'm just going to make this happen come from?
I think it's just tenacious. I'm just going to make this happen. I don't know if I'm ever confident. Like, I'm probably not ever confident that it'll sell until it sells out. And then I'm confident, and then it's on to the next one. So it was always, I don't think I was ever confident, to be honest.
Really?
No, I'm never like, oh, it'll sell. Because I think once you do that, you're doomed, to be honest. If you get cocky and start taking sales for granted and don't appreciate every person that goes, every sale, I think you're screwed.
There's a fine line between confidence and arrogance, and people know it immediately.
Yeah. You have to push. And then that's the next one.
Well, but people will always support confidence. They will run away from arrogance.
I think so.
And
like, I was humble. Like, even every ticket sale, I was appreciative of. Every time I sell a board, or I don't take it ever for granted.
No, but that's a character trait, right? Like, that's just who you are as a person. And but I think that's part of why people have gravitated to you over the years, and why you've had success with everything that you've done so far. And I think that people enjoy that. Every community has people that step up and do various things, be it the charity community, the entertainment community, the business community, whatever that might be. And if people feel that sort of fun energy, especially because everything you do comes with a cool sense of humor as well. You know, I think people gravitate towards that. They want to support that. They want to be part of it, and they want you to succeed. And I think, is it fair to say you've gotten that kind of feedback?
Yeah. It's a very supportive community here. You know, friends, family. Yeah, for sure.
So if you could do your dream production, what would it look like?
That's a good question. I think all the arts, like everything in a day or a weekend, and theater, music, sculptures, painting, just all of it, maybe. Woodworking. I think woodworking's art.
That's just because you want to guarantee yourself a spot.
Yeah, I'm just trying to get myself a gig. That's a good question. I honestly don't know. Sometimes it's more about math for me than like, how am I going to make money off of this? So sometimes that comes into effect more than what I actually want to do.
Well, that's the reality of stuff, right? Like, but
yeah,
if you can blend the two together and put together sort of a dream production of whatever that would look like, sounds like it would be a mix of a whole bunch of genres that's just overall really interesting.
I think I'd like to have my own venue. That would probably be a dream.
Really?
Yeah. Sean Carthew Theater.
The Carthew Theater.
Yeah.
The Carthew Theater sounds like it was built in the 1800s. And it's haunted. It's got some hauntings in it. It's got some hauntings in it. So
yeah.
By the way, have you experienced any of the Port Hope hauntings?
No.
Port Hope has a long history of hauntings, and there was a crazy thread on social media because there was a ghost hunting show coming to Port Hope, and they asked for, hey, has anybody got any stories or any places we should visit? And there was literally 600 comments from people going, you got to go here. You got to go here.
Wow. Yeah. I did see that.
So maybe there's a ghost opportunity there somewhere.
I think so. Ghost stories.
Yeah. Have you had any mentors over the years?
It's my parents. Yeah. Some people in the business like that I really respect. That I like. Dave Carley is a playwright I've worked with a lot, and he's an award-winning playwright, but he's still, every show he pushes and sells, and he gets it. He knows, even he's written 40 plays and they're playing all over, but every time he's pushing.
Written 40 plays. I feel so unaccomplished when I hear something like that.
Yeah, to me, he gets it.
Yeah.
It's a hard go.
And when you surround yourself with people like that and see what it actually takes to pull something off, you don't want to be the weak link.
No, exactly. Yeah, true.
But do you find that the people that you're collaborating with, do you find that they respond to you in the similar way?
Yeah, for sure. The people I've been working with are all hard workers. Sometimes you book artists and they expect you to do all the selling.
Right.
I'm just go up and play.
Yeah.
So, I get that attitude, but I also think you want a full house. You might want to help sell tickets.
You're not you're not playing the Budweiser Theater in Toronto. It's you are working to help sell tickets and sell a show, right?
Yeah. We're hoping for 50 people. Help me sell the damn tickets.
You must know 10.
Yeah, exactly. 5 I'd be happy with.
Hey, if you don't mind me asking, what does Lisa do?
Lisa's a psychometrist. I have to plug my phone in.
Sorry, your audio cut out there. Lisa's a
psychometrist.
What's a psychometrist?
She assesses kids with autism.
Wow.
Yeah. So most of that's virtual now, but has been she used to go in all the time in person, but that's changed now with COVID.
Early in my career, I was a behavior therapist with autistic adults, and I can tell you from firsthand experience, no two cases are the same.
Yeah. She's been doing it for 30 years.
Wow. Did you just move a room? Look at you moving rooms. By the way, I posted a picture up of your smiley face when the screen froze on us the other day, and everybody thought you looked like a real live emoji. Like take that smile and turn it into like a Sean Carthew emoji, and people would use it. Guaranteed.
I like it.
You can put it on your show posters.
I should.
It'll be good. So with the Ontario Street Theatre, are you still using that banner when you're doing stuff or when you're planning stuff?
I will, but yeah, it's been kind of on hiatus right now for sure. Until it's all Sean's wood now.
Going hard on the wood?
Yep.
And you had a huge sort of push in the summertime for planter boxes, right? Like for herb gardens?
Yeah, that went crazy. Again, that was the same sort of fate thing as well. My friend asked for a couple for his dad and then made them and posted, and I sold probably over 70 of those.
Oh my God.
That was a great job this first spring, summer, and it just recently stopped. Like that was probably April, May, June, July, half of August.
Like that's a crazy amount of output for one guy. Like I don't think I've done 70 of anything ever.
I was getting wood from local father and son mill, cedar, and then I set up like a line here and banged them out.
your own wood production line. That's awesome.
Yep, pretty much. Yeah, that was good. I think, that's something maybe I'd be confident in, that every spring, summer there, I could probably sell a lot of those planter boxes.
Do you enjoy the woodworking side of things, or is it work for you?
Sometimes it's work, like making 200 dickboards.
After the first 50, you're like, you've seen one, you've seen them all.
Yeah, your hands are vibrating. The sanding, I hate the sanding. So much sanding.
You had to sand 200 dickboards.
Yeah.
I figured you could have farmed that out, couldn't you?
I should. And oiling them. I definitely could have farmed that out.
Dude, when you first started making those, your social media feed was our entertainment for like 2 weeks. Because the jokes were just non-stop. And we bought one, and it was like the hit of our Super Bowl.
Yeah. That's honestly the best way. Like one person buys and posts, and then the other friends jump in on the fun. And that's how it rolls, and that's the best way to sell them.
We bought one for my dear friend Meg Murphy, and we were driving to Peterborough to go drop it off at her house because she's a wine and cheese charcuterie lover. So I thought, if I don't get her one of these, she's going to be mad at me. So because as soon as she sees them online, she's like, "How come I don't have one?" So Ann and I drove it to Peterborough to drop it off, and on her way to her house, she was walking her dog with two of her friends. So we were on the street presenting her in downtown Peterborough with this 3-foot charcuterie board in the shape of a male genitalia, and her friends were like in hysterics. And she's like, "What am I gonna? It weighs like 10 pounds. Am I gonna carry this home?" And I'm like, "Yep, yep, you are." And you're gonna carry it proudly through downtown Peterborough while you walk your dog.
That's the best.
Yeah. So long story short, she threw a wine and cheese party, and it was the hit of the party.
Was Kate Sir there?
Yes, she was. Kate was there while walking the dog too, by the way. So she can vouch that that's a true story, that we actually presented Meg with a dickboard on the streets of Peterborough.
I can't believe she hasn't got one yet, Kate Sir.
I'm sure we can arrange it.
Yes.
Maybe we'll just send her a couple of photos and just say, "Hey, here's a birthday idea for every friend you know." It'll be great. Yeah, because she and Meg are doing they just finished their show at Fourth Line Theatre with the Veranda Society, which is a great example of exactly what you did during the pandemic. Their income streams got dried up because of the pandemic, so they just shifted and created their own show, and they went to literally to people's backyard patios instead of people coming to them. And it was just a a way that they could shift and still, and they've done, I don't know, 3 shows now, 3 different shows: Christmas, St. Patty's Day. No, 4. This one, Christmas, St. Patty's Day, and the original Veranda Society. So it's,
I think,
how do you know Kate?
You got to create your own work. That was never wait around.
How did, what's your connection to Kate? Do you know her through the performance community?
Oh, my dog's barking.
Mine's sleeping.
I booked her a couple times to do shows.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, listen, man, I really appreciate your time and getting to know you a little more. I still want to go fishing with you and your dad at some point, because I think that would be wicked, because I'm a terrible fisherman, but it's kind of like golf. I'm a terrible golfer, but there's 800 worse ways to spend an afternoon than sitting on the water, hanging out, chilling. So continued success on everything, man. I hope the boards go great. Any final words of advice for anybody that's looking to make a figure things out during this pandemic?
Just do your thing, like find your own work. Don't take no for an answer.
The tenacity rules.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I really appreciate the time, and I'll let you get back to stuff. Say hi to your lovely wife, Lisa. Your love story is awesome, and looking forward to getting back to shows in person again, because we'll make our way down to your next one.
All right, cool. Thanks, brother.